Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. Today on the show, I'm going to talk about how I weaseled out of a bet. But before I talk about that, I'm going to talk a little bit of a story that leads into the story of when I lost the bet. So starting out, way back in the day, I think it was in the mid-90s, mid to late 90s, I think. I don't know, I lived next door to a guy who was a manager of a titty bar here in town. And there were several girls that were living there with him, and they were all dancers at the club, and I don't know which one was his girlfriend, or all of them were his girlfriend, or how many of them were just roommates, I don't know. But there was this one gal that was that lived next door to me, and she was living with the guy who was the manager, and she was also a dancer, and she had red hair, and she claimed to be the real life girlfriend of Peter Steele, from the singer from the rock band Type O Negative. You know, that she told me that personally, and you know, a lot of times people are saying, well, you can't believe what strippers tell you, you know. But there were other strippers there that corroborated her story. And the girls that corroborated that story, I trust as a reliable source. So whether it is or not, I don't know. That's just what she said. But she was a really, really good-looking red-haired girl. And she was not only goth on the stage, but she was goth in real life. And I did get several lap dances with her, you know, at one point. And during these lap dances, you know, she would like to kick me with her big wooden heavy platform shoes, and she would like to dig her nails into my body and scratch me. And at one point she even bit me right here on the shoulder, and it didn't actually bleed, but when I went home later and took off my shirt, I could see a bruise and teeth marks that were still in the skin there. And also at one night when they were having purgatory night, where some girls were dressed up like devils and some girls were dressed up like angels. She was, of course, dressed up like one of the devils, and she had this little metal bar with a little plastic pitchfork on the end of it. The bar was metal, the pitchfork was plastic. And during the lap dance, you know, she would be scratching me and kicking me and stuff, and then she puts that metal bar of that pitchfork up against my neck like this. And I probably could have shoved her off, but I didn't. I was wondering what she's trying to do with this. But as she's doing this, I almost lost consciousness. You know, it was pretty. I was starting to black out. She cut off my wind. You know, cut off my breathing. But she didn't. Then she pulled back. You know, and continued on doing the little lap dance thing. You know, that's just it. My little story about her. You know, so okay. So back to the living next door to the guy who's the manager of the titty bar. One night, when I came home from work, I saw a big limousine parked out front, and I saw this guy standing in the driveway with a big furry coat, and he had this big sort of hat like a pimp would wear. And I'm thinking, oh, they're having one of those dress-up parties where the guys come to the titty bar dressed as a pimp, and the girls there are dressed like hoes, so, you know, you can have like one of those pimps and hoes parties. You know, it's kind of what get people into the act, you know. And so I didn't think much of it, and then later, later that night, my nephew took me to, because his girlfriend backed out of going to this Kid Rock concert with him, so I went to the concert with my nephew because his girlfriend said he couldn't make it and he had an extra ticket. Okay, so I went to that concert, and later, you know, next day, actually it was maybe the next day or maybe the day after, my dad comes over and says, "Hey, the Rock Boys were over here." And I go, "The Rock Boys?" And he goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." He goes, "Yes, you do. I know you do. You listen to that music. The Rock Boys were over here." And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." So then my dad went back over next door to see that guy, and he comes back with it written down on a piece of paper, It was Kid Rock that was actually standing out there in the driveway that he partied next door with a bunch of the dancers there. Well, you know, and instead of the Rock Boys, it was Kid Rock. See, my dad got confused. But yeah, I talked to some of the other dancers out there and that partied with him. They said they didn't like him, that he was very, very much of an asshole, and he had a really huge drug problem, that he was probably going to die soon. But that was way back in the day, and you know, Kid Rock still ain't dead yet. But I don't know. That's just what I heard. So that's, who knows if, you know, any of that's real. But okay, here's what comes into the tie-in. Also, later, you know, after that era, about maybe 5-6 years after that, I can't remember when we got wind on the news and on the you know, some cable channels, they were talking about how Kid Rock was going to get married to Pamela Anderson. And I said, why the hell would he do that? He has sex with women everywhere he goes. Is he really going to give that up for Pamela Anderson? I don't think. Why would he do that? It's, you know, you know. And then he ended. I made a bet with my nephew. I bet my nephew, there's no way in hell he would marry Pamela Anderson. Why the hell would he? If he marries Pamela Anderson, I will eat my own shit. And so I made that bet, and then what do you know? 3 months later, he married Pamela Anderson. And then my nephew says, "You gonna eat your shit now?" And I said, "Well, no." See, I weaseled out of it. I said, "Well, no. They have to stay married till one of them dies. Then I'll eat my own shit." So, and of course, there 6 months later, he divorced Pamela Anderson. So I knew he wouldn't quit partying and having sex with billions of girls just for, why would you stop for Pamela Anderson? You know, so I weaseled out of that bet. Didn't have to do it. It was just a little story. I don't know, kind of crappy. Okay, so I hope I remembered to say all the shit that I was going to say in this video. And, you know, okay, so here we go with some of the sharing. Not sure if I shared this one with people or not. Back in the day, when it was actually more in like the early 90s, I used to work in a shop with a guy who was in a local heavy metal band. He was the singer in this heavy metal band, and I think they're a really good band. So it was such a cool music that I even made a T-shirt about their band. This is the name of their band, the 6 Foot Underground, and they were pretty good. They have a song called Future Shock, and the lyric in that lyric in the song goes, "I'm not a punk rocker. I tell you what I am is a future shocker." Okay, and then so I put this on the back. It says, "I'm not a punk rocker." People are supposed to ask me, what does that mean? I go, "I tell you what I am is a future shocker." You know, it's about the song. Okay, if you ever want to look them up on YouTube or Facebook or wherever the hell you can find them, you can listen to their music, I do believe, on YouTube. It's got some really good stuff. Okay, the next one is this little picture here I've drawn. Some of you may not know who Randy Rhoads is, but Randy Rhoads is a famous guitar player that played with Quiet Riot, and he also played with Ozzy Osbourne back on the first 2 Ozzy Osbourne albums. And this was the Randy Rhoads Concorde guitar that they designed and made and named after him. So this is a Randy Rhoads Concorde, and I made it as to Randy Rubble instead of Randy, you know. Barney Rubble is playing Randy Rhoads guitar, and this feels like Randy Rubble. Yeah, so if you want to Google up a picture of Randy Rhoads playing his Randy Rhoads Concorde prototype, you can see this picture. That's something, my little drawing that I made. Get a little closer here. You can see it. All right, so that's my little story about how I weaseled out on a bet. So if you like and subscribe and leave a comment if you feel like it, and hopefully sometime soon we'll come up with some more videos and get something more interesting to say. Hopefully this video was kind of interesting. I thought it would be. Maybe it was kind of thin. I don't know. I try to come up with some interesting things to talk about. So Thank you all for tuning in. We'll all see you all later. Thanks.